Field Level family. It's the Field Level, the football podcast of the West Coast. I'm Pat, that's CT. CT, I didn't know if you was going to be on tonight, bro. You surprised me. Surprise appearance.
I do my best.
How you doing?
I do my best.
How you doing?
I'm all right, man. Interesting day, but I'm blessed. How you doing?
Man, I can't complain, man. Real interesting day in itself, man. It's another Sunday down, man. Another Sunday in the books. Another football Sunday in the books. Man, I don't even know how I want to start tonight's show, bro.
I'm gonna be honest.
Thinking about it.
If I could just give my 2 cents, I think we should just rip the Band-Aid off right now.
Rip the Band-Aid off, huh? I ain't mad at you, man. Rip that Band-Aid off. So let's go. As we've seen on today, we'll get to all games on the night. We'll get all 6 games that happened. Juan, I'm right there with you, man. I'm upset. 50,000 on my head, what you expect. I'm upset, bro. But let's get right into it, man. 49ers 27, Seahawks 37 on tonight. 49ers fall to the Seahawks in Seattle. Not the greatest of games, if we be honest with one another. A lot of different things we can actually talk about and actually kind of jump on tonight and just like really dive into what the issues were. Huge issue in our secondary today, Emmanuel Moseley. I think I don't want to blame too much on Emmanuel Moseley. Emmanuel Moseley played some solid coverage, but just was out, if I can use the term, out athletic by a better athlete. DK Metcalf is just a superior athlete, and I think that we just first drive of the game, I was very what's the word I'm looking for? I was very I had something to look for. I'll say it like that because I'm at a loss for words. But K'Waun Williams had a nice blitz off the edge that sacked Russell Wilson early. First series on defense looked really good, kind of gave me a little bit of hope for what that game might look like. But quickly things changed. Emmanuel Moseley had a tough day in the office today. But I mean, who isn't going to have it? I mean, who hasn't had a tough day against DK all year? Not to make excuses, but you know, I expect DK Metcalf to beat Emmanuel Moseley. I just expect that. But what I do expect that did not happen is for us to get after Russ a little bit better. For us to kind of put them in some situations schematically to make them make mistakes. So this is kind of how, and this is just my personal opinion. I'm sure I'm gonna get ripped for this, CT. I probably will. I have no problem with that tonight. Tonight, I'm okay with being ripped with the fact that I just feel like personally, Jimmy Garoppolo is our best option, but he's not a long-term option. Jimmy Garoppolo is currently our best option, but he's not a long-term option. There were so many throws today that Jimmy G made that I was just like, come on, man. Like, dude, like the first interception he threw that was clearly so far behind, George Kittle. It was ridiculous. And Juan, I see what you said. Russell Wilson is a difference maker. I get that aspect of it, but we just didn't play good football. You know what I mean? I feel like if these guys played a better level of football, especially on the offensive side of the ball, right? For a lot of that, I mean, and this is just, if we look at it, CT, and I'm going to give it over to you, for Nick Mullins to come in and play basically a quarter and a half, a quarter and a third of football and to go for almost 200 yards and Jimmy Garoppolo to play up until that point and just look bad, you know what I mean? Just doesn't look really good, just looks pretty terrible. If you looked at it, it didn't sit well with me. So I just got to say, like, in my personal opinion, I just didn't see a team with a leader that can make a difference. CT, what did you see today?
I think that was really real well put. A lot of emotions, man. We've been in this situation quite a bit with Seattle, especially playing in Seattle. So the feeling has always been there in regards to, how do you overcome this? How do you prepare for this? You don't even have the 12 and you're still getting whooped.
Right.
Yes, it's tough, man. It's tough watching Pete Carroll strut around the way he struts, and pat his team on the back for just kicking our butts, man, and watching things happen that way. But you can't do much about the injury bug. I don't want to do the what ifs, but I'm thinking to myself, like, man, if Nick Bosa's giving pressure right now, where are we at? If D4 is actually playing a game, where are we at? Kendrick Bourne, love his effort, but can you break a tackle, brother?
No, he can't.
Right. Possession
bro,
receiver, and I respect it.
And when you look at it, man, you Samoan and black, bro. If you don't break a tackle, that's like genetically, you should never get tackled ever.
Yeah. So, but you missed Debo in this game, man, tremendously.
Oh yeah.
Ayuk is a weapon, and I mean, take the training wheels off. This guy just needs to go. Give him opportunities. And the funny part is, I've been watching a lot of beat writer videos and people who watch and film of several games this season, and they're saying that on these go routes, on these long deep routes, Ayuk has been open and Jimmy ain't been looking at him, and he's jumping up and down. He's frustrated. Saw a couple clips of it, and it frustrates you because I don't really know what it would be for Jimmy at this point with his knowledge of the offense. Go ahead, Pat.
I just I guess my thing is, and I get it, like we all get into these places and you get on social media, get on Facebook, and everybody's like, oh, you still think Jimmy's the issue, or oh, you still think like Jimmy's not the guy. And I've been guilty of it on many of occasions. But when are we going to stop making excuses for Jimmy Garoppolo? Like, when are we going to be like, Jimmy, like, straight up, get it together, bro? Like, it was a play that just off of the top of my head. It was a choice route, well, not a choice route, double route on the left side of the field. Kyle Juszczyk ran a flat, and I want to say Ayuk had a slant, and the double team went to the slant on Ayuk and left Juszczyk wide open in the flat, and he chose to try to fit it into the slant, and like Juszczyk is just right, like Juice is just right there, wide open in the flat. And it's just the decision making, man. It's like, and then when you do make the right decision, you're not putting these guys in a position to really excel, so to speak. It's like you're throwing the ball behind them and throwing the ball high. They're not being able to catch the ball on the run and get into stride and getting upfield. They're always having to adjust to catch the ball. And like Juan just said here, what did you think of the play calling? Personally, the play calling wasn't the issue tonight. Nope. I didn't see an issue with the play calling. It was the play. It was like making the right decision, the execution. It was making the right decision. It was the technicality of it all. It just, because honestly, the same play calling you seen when Jimmy Garoppolo was in there was the same play calling when Nick Mullins came in, and Nick Mullins went for 238 and 2 touchdowns. And what does a defense do, CT? You play football. We know this. Juan, you know this. Late in the game, when a defense understands that you have to throw the ball, they play the pass. And with that, Nick Mullins, they played the pass, and Nick Mullins still made the correct decisions at the correct times and got it done. We went from 30-7. Nick Mullins comes in, and it's 30-20.
With no running game, really.
With no running game. So I can't blame the play calling. I have to blame the execution of the plays. And honestly, even when it came to our defense today, for me personally, defense wasn't the huge issue.
No,
it was the fact that offense couldn't sustain a drive and kept the defense out there way too long. And it was so many times where one thing I will say, though, as it pertains to the defense, our pass rush is atrocious, bro.
We know that, though.
Our pass rush is so bad.
We're getting by.
But the thing about it is, when you have a pass rush like that, CT, you gotta be creative, because one thing you cannot do is allow Russell Wilson to be comfortable in the pocket. Right. It was one time, dude, when it was like all outside pass rush, the middle of the field open, wide open, like the middle of the defensive line open, wide open. Russell Wilson stepped up, could have ran for the first down, but hit DK like on a 14-yard pass. And I'm just like, when you give Russell Wilson that kind of time, we're not going to be successful. I mean, you're not going to beat Seattle if Russell Wilson's just sitting back there and just scanning.
Can you speak to something real quick?
Sure.
So I saw E-Man locked up on Metcalf a lot of the game.
Right.
And then the plan going into the week, that plenty of people alluded to was Jason Verrett having that opportunity. I understand E-Man has a little bit more size. Do you think that there should have been some type of switch there?
No, so what they're doing this year is that they're not playing side corners, right? Normally in times past, they have left side, right side corner. Now they have boundary and field corner. So you have your field corner, you have your boundary corner. What they're doing is a lot of the times is that E-Man plays the boundary and they're lining DK up on the boundary for one-on-one matchups. That's why you didn't see a lot of him on Verrett, because DK goes opposite the field. Yes, so that's why you're seeing so much of E-Man, and they didn't want to completely change the scheme of the defense, which I understand, because if you do that, then everybody has different responsibilities and it just kind of messes things up. So I get that portion of it. So DK played a lot of boundary receiver today, and that's why you've seen him locked up with E-Man so much.
But then one thing, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
One thing that stays in my mind when we talk about play calling, you being a play caller, you mentioned this a while back. And I think this was a perfect example of this today with all the injuries and just how we've utilized our personnel. You mentioned the toughest situation is for a play caller not to have the players they need to execute the play at the level they want to. You need Debo to run some of these plays. Look what happened to Dante Pettis.
He gotta go, bro. Somebody, like, if there's any team in the league that wants or needs a receiver, please call the Niners. There's a guy by the name of Dante Pettis, second-round pick, awesome, out of Washington. We're willing to give him to you.
Pull up to 49 Centennial. He'll be waiting out front with his backpack.
Right, packed.
And then I'm thinking about, I think that we're more competitive and have a chance with Jeff Wilson in this game. You know what I mean? Just the way he looked and how he's played against Seattle.
We might have been more competitive with Tevin Coleman. Tevin Coleman had his first couple runs looked nice, but then he tweaked whatever he had going on. Yeah, but it was a hard day to watch, because at the end of the day, it's frustrating as a fan. I seen Quan. I seen what you said. Also, Nick Mullins played good, but when he had his chance to play with expectation, he got pulled. Understandably, that when you play with no expectation, you play a little freer. Totally get it. Totally understand that. But if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be $100 million guy, you know what I'm saying? If he's going to be the big contract guy, you got to be ready for these type of moments. And I think that's the issue that I'm having when it pertains to Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm not asking Jimmy Garoppolo to be Tom Brady. I'm not asking him to be Aaron Rodgers. But I for sure need you to be, I have to have you to be at least Josh Allen, at least a Dak Prescott, at least somebody where when you get into these games, just make the throw. I'm not asking you to throw us out of games or throw us into games. I'm asking you not to throw us out of games. And what he's been doing in these type of situations is that a lot of times, going back to what you're saying when you talk about play calling, when you don't have one player, Debo, one player, and I ask you to really be a true quarterback, not somebody that's turning around pitching it to Debo on the jet or shoveling it inside. I'm asking you to consistently complete mid-range with accuracy. That's all.
Right.
I'm not asking you even to throw 20 yards down the field. I'm asking you between 10 to 15, between 7 to 15, hit it. When you can't hit those accurately, we have a problem.
And the thing too that's weird, the thing that's really weird to me, it feels mental, man. Like I'm watching him hobble on the sideline. Like, I know your ankle hurts. I get that. But how come you didn't sit down and go get it taped up and get right back out there?
Right.
I don't know. I can't speak for him because that's not my ankle. At the same time, the demeanor, the attitude on the sideline, it just tells me that he's just like not sure of himself. He's like, man, I just don't know. I ain't got it. Let them figure it out. I'm just going to rely on the coach. No feistiness. No, like, coach, I need to be in there. Byron Leftwich had his teammates carry him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I just don't see that type of energy in our leader. And just because they like him don't mean he's a good leader. And I'm starting to kind of read through that a little bit.
Yeah, it seemed like he's a good guy. I appreciate
Right.
you for being a good guy. Quan said, "Where's Javon Kinlaw?" Quan, at the end of the day, Javon Kinlaw is a rookie. I'm
He's
not
not
about to
skill
put
set.
the onus. It's not his skills. I'm not about to put the onus on Javon Kinlaw to go out there and disrupt Russell Wilson for 4 quarters. I'm not expecting that to happen. I'm not going to happen all day. Even though there was some solid pressure put on Russell Wilson at certain points in this game, but we lost this game because of effort. We lost this game because of moxie. I like that word, moxie. When you just got like a grit about you, when you got something about you that's just very like, I'm not going to lose this game. When your leader has that team jumps on and they ride that wave. I don't get that from Jimmy, bro.
I see it in Nick sometimes. I even have seen it in CJ, as crazy as that sounds, but CJ, Nick, they seem to have a little bit more than Jimmy at times, and that's what's scary.
I'll say this: I won't be totally surprised if this time next year Jimmy Garoppolo is not the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers.
Bro, he's not on my Madden, so I don't know
I'm gonna
about
tell
real
you
life.
why. I'm gonna tell you why, because if certain losses begin to happen, certain talks begin to happen, and I bet you Kyle is in a place where he's like, the show is gonna be you before me.
Oh yeah.
Kyle is not letting the ship sink with Jimmy Garoppolo. It's not going to happen. He's going to for sure make sure that is what it is. Enough about the San Francisco 49ers and the Seahawks. Seahawks won. Congratulations. We'll see y'all in a while. Lost by 10 in the grand scheme of things. When you're down 30-7, losing by 10, I'll take it. Next game we want to get to tonight is Broncos versus the Chargers. I think nobody on our pick'em picked the Broncos. Everyone picked the Chargers. We all thought Justin Herbert was going to come out there and do great, as he did, threw some couple picks late. They went up pretty big, pretty fast, though. I think at one point in that game, CT, it was 24-3. At one point in this game, the Broncos were down 24-3. So shame on, and Miles even talked about this last week, but shame on the Chargers defense, man. Shame on those guys. When you got Joey Bosa, when you have Ingram, when you have those kind of guys, you just expect a certain, and you're going against Drew Lock. You're expecting a certain amount of pressure. But Drew Lock brought the Broncos back, ending the game with the touchdown to KJ Hamler, right side of the end zone for the win. But man,
I got to give Quan his credit for that.
Yeah,
Lock gang. Gotta shout out Quan for that, man. He was right. This team, I'll just start with it. This team has been sneaky, man. You can tell that when Locke is in there, they're locked in, they're young, but they're hungry and they're ready to do everything they can to really elevate this franchise, man, and get the quarterback situation right for a change. It's been a long time. So, very, very impressed with what I've seen from Drew Lock. This is a question that we had going into the season. You're starting to see him really ascend into somebody who can be counted on and somebody his teammates will rally with as they grow. And of course, I love Vic Fangio, so I'm happy to see his team be successful. But this is a team to watch out for, as we move forward, especially going into next year. But I got to give them their kudos today because this was a game I didn't expect them to win.
I did not expect them to win at all. And like Quan said, you did pick Lock gang all day. I think that they have a solid team going forward. I think they caught a Charger team that I will say one thing, man. Mike Williams, that pick in the back of the end zone that Mike Williams allowed to happen. Mike Williams went high over the top of dude and just didn't play the ball correctly. If Mike Williams plays that ball correctly, that's a touchdown, not a touchback, and we might have a different game going forward. But Broncos came out, got it done, rallied back and actually made it happen. Like Miles said, were the Browns sneaky or the Chargers just wet the bed? I feel like the Chargers just wet the bed. You're not going to be up 24-3 and the Broncos be sneaky. You're up 24-3, Chargers wet the bed, should have got the job done. Such is life. Next game on the docket, we're running through it tonight, y'all. Raiders 16, Browns 6. I said, on Wednesday night show, I told y'all, even though Quan made me upset and I kind of switched it up a little bit, I told y'all that if Josh Jacobs had more than 20 carries, the Las Vegas Raiders would win the game. Josh Jacobs finished with 31 carries, 128 yards, and the Raiders won the game. This game was kind of like that old school defense, old school stalemate. And I think it goes back to what Quan said last week, CT. Baker Mayfield comes out one day, 5 touchdowns, goes crazy. Comes back the next day, sucks. Just terrible. Yeah. And I think that's kind of what we've seen today. What do you want to say about the Broncos and Raiders game, bro?
Michael Jordan strong hand. I told y'all that the Raiders will win this game. This saved their season, in my opinion. I think this gives them an opportunity to sneak into the wild card situation or conversation, should I say. Yeah, you got to depend on your bell cow, man. Josh Jacobs is that guy. Derek, play within yourself, utilize your weapons to the best of your ability, but definitely allow that run game to dictate the physicality and the mojo of the team, I'll say. Defensively, they're ascending. They're continuing to grow. It's good to have, the Abrams of the worlds and, guys like that. Arnett's, is Arnett back yet?
He not back yet. Mm-mm.
Well, you got him, and that's a special player. So once you guys get him back, that's going to be an opportunity to really take it to another level. So shout out to the Raiders for that.
Quan, I know you're on here, and I got a question tonight. CT, I'm even pose this question for you. Out of all these rookie wide receivers, we're talking Jerry Jeudy, we're talking Chase Claypool, we're talking Brandon Ayuk, we're talking Justin Jefferson. The top echelon of the ones that were talked about in the draft. Is the first one picked the worst one? And we're talking about Henry Ruggs. Out of all those guys, they're all producing. Even Brandon Ayuk today, 8 catches, 91 yards, 1 touchdown. Justin Jefferson has been doing his thing. Chase Claypool's been doing his thing. Jerry Jeudy's ascending. Henry Ruggs is just like, bro, we waiting. We're waiting. It was a touchdown pass in the back of the end zone. I know because I started Derek Carr today in fantasy because Kyler Murray had a bye. So I started Derek Carr today. I'm watching because I need them points. You know what I'm saying? And Derek Carr throws it to Henry Ruggs back right at the end zone. Henry Ruggs has plenty of space to get 2 feet down and doesn't. And just doesn't do it. Doesn't get it done. Wait. Hold on. Quan.
My guy.
Is Henry Ruggs, the first receiver picked in the draft, the worst out of that top echelon group?
No. He's not. If you want to just look at the stats, then you can make that argument. But I think we've all played enough football to know that sometimes the numbers don't tell the full story. And if you watch a Raider game and you look at his impact and what he's been able to do, he's been able to open up the offense in a way where Derek Carr can actually see the whole field now. And I know last year you guys remember me talking about Derek Carr always checking the ball down. Well, now he has a receiver that can stretch the field to where when he does check it down or when he does make those intermediate throws, it's not every DB jumping balls crazy. So I think his production is going to start to go up as these games, as he gets more experience. Today, I did like seeing John Gruden finally throw a screen pass to him. I know I mentioned that the last time we was on. Get him the ball early, get it in space, and we're starting to see that now. So I think John Gruden, as much as he wanted his own version of Tyreek Hill, like he stated, I think he's actually starting to get into a groove as far as getting some plays designed for him and getting him more involved. But if you want to go by the numbers, I can argue with that, but his production is just more when you watch the Raiders play. Are we talking about the Raiders right now?
We're talking about the Raiders right now.
Okay, circle back to me because I got. Go ahead. Circle back to me.
Go ahead. You good? You're on.
Yeah, go do it.
You're on. It was the score. The score was 16-6. I don't have much to talk about. Go ahead.
Wow, You lucky I caught the tail end of that Niner game because I'm definitely gonna be on Javon Kinlaw online since y'all want to say
why?
Anyway.
Why?
Because
No.
you said I'm not gonna put all the onus on him because he's a rookie. But y'all would have did that to Nick Bosa. You would have did that to Bosa. You would have put the onus on him.
That's a different player, though, Quan. Like, come on, bro. Like, you know that.
I understand that.
How's Sparrow doing? Okay. How's Sparrow doing, Quan?
Farrell doing better than Kinlaw. Jeez. He doing better than Kinlaw.
Go ahead. We're on the Raiders, bro. It's on you.
We on the Raiders. Anyway, I'll get back to CT in a second. Derek Carr in a very ugly game. It was windy as heck. Our first field goal, that wind pushed that ball like 10 yards opposite of the upright. It was very windy. It started to snow midway through the second quarter. It was ugly. It was one of them ugly games to see who's the toughest. You know we're going to run the ball. Can you stop it? And they could not stop Josh Jacobs in the second half. This was Josh Jacobs' first game going over 100 yards this season. As a whole, Devontae Booker had almost 40 yards rushing. Derek Carr even had 40 yards rushing. Finally starting to use his athleticism to extend plays or get first downs like I was complaining all last season. Pat, you were absolutely right. You said if Josh Jacobs gets 20 or more carries, we're going to win the game. He got like 30. 31. So I'm happy with that. Hunter Renfrow, like you said, all that man does is catch touchdowns. He got another one today. Matter of fact, he caught the only touchdown today. So I'm very pleased. I'm pleased that the defense came to play, even though it was a muddy game. I'm glad that our defense came to play. I'm very pleased with the way the Raiders played, and we're getting healthy. Unfortunately, Trent Brown had a bad injury. Prayers up to him. It wasn't his fault. It seems like that guy seems like he can't catch a break, but this is why fans need to hush their mouth. I'm glad I never got caught in the trap of speaking on an injured player. You need to hush your mouth because y'all not the one that's injured. And if y'all could do it better, y'all will be doing it. So it's like that man Hill.
I hate when fans talk about injuries. Like, bro, like that's that man's livelihood. Chill out.
Right.
Like chill out.
Is he getting injured on purpose? No, he's not. So
right. Chill out, bro.
Fans usually people that haven't played.
Right.
Hey man, we 4-3. I'm gonna pass it on to y'all, and then when we get done, if y'all wouldn't mind going back to lock game just for a second. Yeah, we're
like literally, bro. I think CT. I can speak for the both of us. We're done when it comes to the Raiders, bro.
Oh wow, okay. Well, that's fine.
So go ahead, lock gang.
Hey man, I know we picked the Chargers, but Me's kind of made me hesitate on my Broncos pick because if you remember, I was ready to pick the Broncos again, and y'all was like, "Why would you? What reason?" This is why.
Right.
This is why he has everything you could want from a quarterback. He got that swag and that moxie that you said Jimmy don't have. He got the arm talent that a lot of these quarterbacks don't have. And now you surrounded him with weapons. And remember, he's missing his big weapon in Cortland Sutton. And he started. KJ Hamler was starting in the slot. Jerry Jeudy, another rookie, started, and Deshaun Hamilton, I think he's a second-year receiver, who's been underachieving, I would say. But they did their thing. They did their thing, and it might be time for the Chargers need to fire somebody. I'm not saying they need to fire the head coach because I think the players love fighting for him. But whoever that defensive coordinator is. Bruh, you can't keep blowing leads and just being able to go home.
Hey, since we took a step back, I'm gonna allow that to happen tonight. No flag on the play because I know
that's my bad.
You were en route. If you're the offensive coordinator, CT, hop in on this as well. Who's your guy? Are we going Philip Lindsay or are we going Melvin Gordon?
That's a great question. I'll say Philip Lindsay.
You gonna go Philip Lindsay?
Yeah, he knows this line. He knows this team. I think that's the one you go with. I think you can get more out of him long term. I haven't seen him with the injury bug on the level of Melvin Gordon. So I think you'll get a little bit more consistency. And and he's still hungry, young enough to prove it. So I definitely would take Lindsey as my running back.
Quan, same question. You starting? You see what's happening today in with the Broncos. Are you going Philip Lindsay or are you going Melvin Gordon?
I don't think I truly don't think you have to choose. I think they both provide something that the other one doesn't. I think one thing that Philip does that Gordon don't, he provides that juice. He can take it 50-60 quickly.
I see you being PC right now. I appreciate your PC-ness.
You're a politician today.
I mean, hey, but look, towards the end of that game, who was getting the toe of the carries, grinding out that clock, trying to get them first down? It was Gordon. So I think they do different 2020. Things. Woods 2020. Do I gotta choose? Yeah,
choose.
Please.
I guess I'll take Lindsey.
All right.
For all that.
I'm just saying.
I appreciate it.
He's undrafted. He already went over 1,000, so I don't know why they bring in Gordon anyway. But I mean,
Next game on the docket, y'all. Chiefs Jets.
Can I start with this one?
Go ahead. CP.
What does prime time always say when it's a game that ain't even worth talking about?
I don't even know. What did it say?
Ain't nobody care. Ain't nobody
care about this game. Nobody care about this game. I didn't care. You didn't care. Why? For what? This game was never in question.
Bruh, are you crazy? It was like 14-9 almost at halftime. What are you talking about? That game was close for no reason.
This man said almost at halftime. It was 14-9.
Bruh, with like 3 minutes left in the second quarter, it was 14-9. It shouldn't even been that close if the Chiefs are you know what I'm saying? Come on.
It's football still at the end of the day, any given Sunday, as we know. Shout out to LL Cool J and Willie Beeman. Any given Sunday. So I mean, so 14-9 it doesn't shake me. You know what I mean? But CT, go ahead. I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, final score was 35-9. Patrick Mahomes threw 5 touchdowns. It was a weak team versus a good team. That was the narrative of the game. Go ahead, CT.
Steaming Willie Beeman.
Apologies.
Revenge game for Le'Veon Bell. I'm gonna throw that in there. Surprised Gay still has a job. Feel bad for your boy Sammy. I don't think he's as good as you think he is, but feel bad for him.
What?
I don't.
Wow.
What about Sam Darnold? What?
I do not agree with CT on this one. I don't agree with him on this one.
I'm not a huge fan.
CT watch NFL Red Zone. He don't watch the whole game. He just catch the clips.
Just because I have access don't mean I don't watch the whole game. Shout out to Red Zone. It is great. But Darnold, for me, I think he has the athletic ability. I see him make the throws. His talent has not always been there. I understand that. But I don't know if he's somebody I can deal with personally in my franchise.
Personally? Why?
All right, I got a question for you.
If you really want to know, it's because he's a USC quarterback, and I'm not a fan.
Wow. All right, so I got a question for I see we got some people in here tonight. I got this serious question. Juan, I see you in here right now. If you could trade Jimmy G straight up for Sam Darnold, would you?
No. If this was the off season, yes, but not right now.
Off season,
I would. Yep, I would. You ain't got nothing to lose.
CT, would you trade Jimmy G straight up for Sam Darnold this offseason?
No.
Hey Pat. Maybe if you make a trade, but you also got to set some draft picks. I mean, Jimmy does have somewhat of a resume, so you got to get some draft picks too. But I'll take Sam. You ain't got nothing to lose.
Am I gaining much?
I just personally, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. As I feel today, as I feel at this very moment, I take Daniel Jones over Jimmy G right now. Like the way I'm feeling right now, ship Jimmy to the what was it called? Send Jimmy to the Montreal Alouettes. Like, I don't care. Like, send him somewhere, the BC Tigers. I don't really care. Send Jimmy to the Amsterdam Fire. Send him to the NFL Europe. I don't care right now personally. Juan says offseason, yes, he would. I would. Sam Darnold is better. Straight up.
I don't see why you really don't look. Sam Darnold to me is exactly what Drew Lock is, but with no talent. Because Drew Lock got talent.
If you give Sam Darnold, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and a running game, Sam Darnold is good.
Oh, and this is what I wanted to say. This is going to make all this mesh in like a nice little pot. When you watch Jimmy play today, I think before he got hurt, he was 11 for 16 for like 60 yards or something like that. All lateral passes, like all 5 yards and nothing. Like when Nick Mullins got in there, granted it was no expectations.
Going downfield.
Push the ball down the field. And that's one thing Sam do, because when Sam did make some plays today against the Chiefs, remember he had like 2 40-yard completions to Denzel Mims. Come on, man.
He had Denzel Mims looking good today. So what I'm gonna do
is trash.
No, this is what I'm gonna say. If the Jets, which I believe they will, are on a full tank job, which I think that is a tank job that is not even a self-inflicted tank job, they just suck. Get Trevor Lawrence. If Trevor Lawrence comes out, because Trevor Lawrence now knows that he'll go to the Jets, and now he's rethinking about even coming out of the draft, and we'll talk about that on Wednesday night.
I can't.
They're gonna look to move Sam Darnold. I'll give up a 4th or a 3rd.
I think that's fair. I mean, the Jets are so bad. Then they just traded away one of their starting linebackers today to the Steelers for like a late round draft pick. Like how you trade somebody after the game?
Avery Williamson or something?
Yeah, how you trade somebody after the game? A starter.
Yeah, they traded for like a 7th round pick. I think it's terrible. So anyway, that's it. We're moving on from the Jets. We're moving on from the Chiefs. Last game of the day made me feel better about myself. Rams 17, Miami Dolphins 28. I think that this game was a testament, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, to the very fact that there are 3 different phases of football. There's offense, there's defense, and there's special teams. The Dolphins won in defense and special teams. And because they won in those 2 phases in the manner in which they did, they won that game. Jared Goff had 4 turnovers by itself.
Yeah.
2 fumbles, 2 interceptions. One of those fumbles went for 6, and all the rest of those fumbles went for scores. I think the Miami Dolphins and Tua had to get his feet under him. Tua didn't have the greatest game. But the Miami Dolphins played well on all 3 facets of football, and that won them the game on the take today. Quan, how'd you feel about that game?
I'll be quick. That's how teams are supposed to play when you're playing a rookie or a very young quarterback. Everybody else needs to pick it up, and that's what the Dolphins did. You already highlighted the fact that they didn't have 28 points total.
Yeah.
And 14 of those points came from other than offense. So very, very good game, solid game by the Dolphins. The Rams, man, hey, Aaron Donald he introduced himself real early.
He did, but he's still probably calling people soft. He got to still be making that soft comment.
Hey, as he should. The Rams had a couple of bright spots from players who haven't been shown. Like Taylor Rapp had a couple of good hits. Of course, the one that caused the fumble. Aaron Donald did his thing. Even Brockers had a really solid game as well, defending the run. But end of the day, the Dolphins got the W. Tua fans, you have to wait another week to go crazy. He didn't really do too much, but the defense did what they had to do. So good win, Dolphins. Rams, you got to bounce back.
CT on you, brother.
Tough loss for the Rams, but very excited for the future of Miami Dolphins. My son's a fan of the Miami Dolphins, so he was juiced to see.
Where did that come from? Where did that
It's something about that Turkish teal, man. And he's a Tua fan.
Okay.
He done some research on Tua, so he's a fan. But yeah, I'm excited for them. I'm excited for Coach Flores. I know that was a tough move. I'm not necessarily agreeing how it was done. We all talked about that. But this is a team that's ready to really embrace Tua. You know, they're firing on all cylinders. They're communicating well, and they're executing at a higher level right now. And I think Tua can mold himself into that and really become his own and really fly with this team. It kind of reminds me of that Teddy Bridgewater situation in Minnesota. You know, when he took over and that team was flying for a minute, and then obviously he had a freak accident injury. But I think he has potential to really ascend with this team. So shout out to the Dolphins and Rams. I just think that they're inconsistent. And I think it really starts with the run game. You know, you can't rely on Goff to do all this stuff for you. He's not Russell Wilson. He's not Kyler Murray. He's not going to be able to make those plays that just separates him as an upper echelon quarterback. That's not his skill set. Some of his receivers disappear at times. I think Woods is pretty consistent. I think Higbee's really shown out this year. Cup up and down a little bit for me. But, yeah, I don't trust the Rams. I don't think
those guys are good. Those guys are good, but I think it's the scheme. Me personally, I think that those guys are good. I think when you think about Cooper Kupp, Josh Reynolds, Van Jefferson, being that, you know, a little bro was on them with that team in training camp, I got to see a lot of them. Those guys are solid players. I just don't understand his scheme behind what he's doing. A lot of things that what Sean McVay is doing on offense, you ever are so brilliant that it's negative? Like, are you ever so smart that you're dumb? Like, you ever seen that? Like, when somebody's so intelligent that it just comes off as not knowing, like, the simplicity of things, right? It's like sometimes he overcomplicates a lot of what he's doing on offense, and then it just kind of begins to be a lot muddled, so to speak, where it's just kind of like stuff, people running everywhere, people running open, but then it's just weird. It's all kind of weird to me. So I think that one thing I was looking forward to was the 49ers winning and the NFC West kind of becoming a lot closer because the Rams lost, but that didn't happen today. But shout out to the Dolphins. Dolphins did their thing. They made some solid plays and got the job done at the end of the day, and you can't really argue with that too much.
How many points would they have put up if Fitzpatrick was playing?
If Fitzpatrick was playing? Oh, it would have been a blowout.
It might have been it could have been a 40
It might have been a 50 burger. It might have been a 50 burger. No cap. It might have been a 50 burger. 28. Nah, I give him 42. It would have been like 42-17. Somewhere around there. That's what I think. I give them 2 more offensive scores. But this is the Field Level Football Podcast of the West Coast. We'll be back with you all Wednesday night. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss Wednesday show. Sunday night recap is great because we just recap things and make things happen. But Wednesday night is the show that you really don't want to miss. Whatever you're doing, schedule us into your plans. 8:45 Wednesday night, 8:45 Pacific Standard Time. Daylight savings time is throwing me completely off. I'm going to be honest with y'all. It got dark at like 5. I'm so sleepy right now. I don't know what's happening. Like, I could barely
old, brother.
Dang. Anyway, I'm so sleepy right now. I don't know what's happening.
My bad. That's the backstage talk. My bad.
You know, we still live, man. You can't be telling people I'm old. But no, we'll be back. You don't want to miss the 8:45 Pacific Standard Time on Wednesday nights. Great content, great show. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Not only do I want you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, but also follow us. If you're watching us on Facebook tonight, go over to YouTube, search the Field Level, subscribe, and follow. It's very simple. Not too much, not too hard. And then also, when you get that chance, go on Instagram, follow us at the Field Level, then go on Twitter and follow us at the Field Level 1. We're going to be here back with you guys Wednesday night, us 3. We're always together. It's all about Field Level family. I hate how I do it. That's CT. Y'all messed me up tonight. Y'all don't switch spots. That's CT. That's anyway, that's CT. That's Quan. Y'all good? Any final words tonight, y'all?
Be safe, y'all. Have a good night.
Be safe. Niners, you better watch that and get ready for Thursday, man. Green Bay.
Thursday night, Niners, Green Bay. We own Green Bay. If we lose to Green Bay, I don't know what I'm gonna do, bro. The way we owned Green Bay last year, if we lose to Green Bay. Anyway, it's the field level. I'm Pat. That's CT. That's Quan. See y'all Wednesday night, 8:45 Pacific Standard Time. We over and out.